Hey everybody, welcome back to Susty Soul. Today I have Angela Richardson, the CEO of Pur Home, and I'm so excited to finally had the opportunity to interview her and have her on the show. I've been following her for a very long time and her products are amazing. So Angela, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to finally connect with you and be on here. I'm super excited about this. Thank you.
Yes, likewise, likewise. So I'm gonna go ahead and allow you and just let you go ahead and just introduce yourself and what is Pur Home?
So, Pure Home really started out as a passion project for me.
Mm,
I went natural in 2012 with, my hair, cut everything, did the big chop. And so I started getting interested in, you know, ingredients and products and stuff like that as I was, navigating my new hair and all that. And so that kind of segued me into some eco-friendly living.
mm,
Um, and then from there, I started learning how to make, soap and lotion and all kinds of stuff because I got like obsessed with ingredients and wanted to just really, focus on natural, organic ingredients. And so that's kind of really how I started learning about toxicity and ingredients. And I would say about 2013, I had my own little skincare company and realized like after a year that that wasn't what I wanted to do. But I wanted to create a product line of like everyday essentials like your laundry detergent, dish soap, household cleaners, and such. So I went into about 18 months of researching, formulating, learning about, chemistry, formulation, science, all kinds of stuff.
yeah.
And then, after I, did my first initial formulations of my laundry detergent and my surface cleaner and dish soap, I decided to launch Pure Home, and I did that in May of 2017. And we've just been going on ever since then.
Oh my gosh. And it's actually interesting that you brought that up. I like for me going natural myself, like that was a part of like my journey as well. So and that's like not the first time I've heard it. So I think it's so interesting how like I know like a lot of Black women who do start their natural hair journey, that definitely leads them into the whole conversation around toxicity. So I think it's
Absolutely.
definitely a good thing.
I never would have considered ingredients and products until I, did the big chop and went natural. Never would have done it.
Yeah, yeah. And it's really important in our community. So speaking of that, like I would love to know, like how do you hope your brand will make an impact within the sustainability realm? Because it's products and companies like Her Home that are becoming so important, especially within communities of color. So I'd love to know, like within sustainability, like how do you hope the brand will make an impact?
Um, Definitely just staying true to the purest ingredients that we can,
Mm-hmm.
sourcing those ingredients from companies that are ethically aligned, that believe in fair trade, that don't test on animals, that, pay a fair wage to their employees. And then also, just personally, we are looking at, different packaging options. One thing that just, that bothers me that I just can't get a hold of is, the output of plastic and, just, I guess, focusing on the environment. I feel like Black and Brown people have consistently always been sustainable. In a sense, we've had our grandparents, our grandma, and especially me. I grew up, I'm from California, and my grandparents had a home on a 1 acre land, and they would grow their own fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
They had their own chickens. We had tons of fruit trees.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, in that sense, they would can their own food and do all of that. And so, that's really the nuts and bolts of sustainability stemming from sharecropping and all of that. And so, we had that well, I had that experience growing up. And
Mhm.
so actually now that's one thing that I live on a one acre farm here
Oh,
where I live now. Well, it's not a farm, but we're, building it into that. And so we have our own well, we have our own chickens, we are attempting to grow our own food, and all of that. And so that really ties into just my personal responsibility. But then as I see it in my business, I'm just really looking to see, how we can, protect the environment, how because what you wash down your sink goes into the local sewers, and then
right.
potentially into our oceans.
Yeah.
Plastic as well is notorious for being found in the ocean and harming our sea animals, as well as the air birds that constantly. It's so devastating to see all the pictures and hear the stories of the animals that have stomachs full of plastic.
Yeah.
um, and so it's our goal. We have some huge things that are coming up in 2021
Mhm.
that will hopefully allow us to lessen, our plastic output. We're really working hard towards, not necessarily zero waste, because I feel like that is more of a trend
Yeah.
still, and it's not sustainable.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
yeah, it's not necessarily sustainable, and people don't realize um, what it takes, true sustainability. And so,
Mhm.
it's one of those things. It's one of my core, values towards sustainability, but we
Mhm.
have to do it in a way that is true,
Mhm.
not filled with emotions, and not on par with trends. We just cannot, because that to me is very unsustainable.
Right.
Um, so yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll continue to develop it as we have access to capital. Then we can kind of build our own packaging. That's my goal, is to have better packaging
Mhm.
that's more biodegradable, less plastic.
Mhm.
And get it into refills is super important to us, but doing it in a way that is truly sustainable. Can these things be recycled? If they can't be recycled, what are some alternatives?
Mhm.
So yeah, that's definitely on my mind always.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm actually glad you brought that up. And I'm definitely looking forward to that when you guys begin to make your own packaging.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're aware of like the garbage patch in the specific.
Yes. Hmm. Yes.
So, so for the audience, for those of you who don't know, there is basically a mass of garbage and plastic,
Mhm.
about the size of Texas, literally
Yeah.
floating. It's probably bigger now,
Yeah.
literally floating in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Mhm.
And that comes from all things, whether it's like laundry, just like Angela was saying, like when we wash our laundry, when we pour things down the sink, that, it really does contaminate a lot of our natural resources and the
Mhm.
animals. Also, um, Angela, I think a lot of people are also unaware of the problem with just microplastics being in
Yes.
everything, like to our
Hmm.
food, our water. I remember when I was in grad school, we were like we had to work on this huge project that really addressed microplastics, and there was a lot of studies where they found microplastics in people, like
Hmm.
in it's like in our blood, because it's in everything, and it's an incredibly terrifying problem,
Yes.
especially when you think about like, oh, because of, with the sea animals too, it's like in a lot of fish because they eat, they eat.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
really, it's horrifying. And so, yeah, I'm just really looking forward to what you guys do to like address that in terms of, Pure Home having an impact, because it's a huge problem that a lot of people don't realize is actually very scary.
Is, and I think that that's the key, that people don't really know too much about it. But then, we have to be a little bit more caring about some of these things, because even as a company, I've tried so many different things to be, more sustainable, less plastic.
Mhm.
But then, as a business person, then I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is like, it's not sustainable,
Mhm.
and then how do you survive as a small company if you don't have funding? and then your prices are astronomical. So, I think there's a lot of like packaging development that needs to happen because
Yes.
there's so much, in plastic right now. There's like everything. Glass to me is not, I mean, it's a great alternative,
Mhm.
but it's not sustainable because it breaks. And then that causes problems for the consumer as well as the business. Aluminum is a great alternative, but they tend to be super expensive. So then there's just so many variables that I think that people don't really know about. They
Yeah.
just see, oh, I want to have glass, or I want to have aluminum, or I want to be plastic free. And
Mhm.
and they're forcing companies to, small businesses to do all these things. And I'm like, it's not sustainable. This is like, it's not sustainable. How am I going to be able to pack your glass packaging? I'm going to have to put it in another box inside the box. That's
Yeah.
going to make the box that I'm shipping out even heavier. So, the carbon footprint becomes even more. And there's just so much. I have so much to say about this topic.
Yeah, no, no, please like continue because it's a lot of people don't understand that it's very, very difficult to start and build a sustainable business.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's incredibly difficult to live up to a certain standard and to also because once you get into it, it's like oh wait, I got to address this because this addresses this
Yes.
problem and this, there's just so many. It's like a rabbit hole of issues that can arise. So just kudos to you and just like all people who are like really trying to make an impact
Absolutely.
and are because definitely
Yeah.
are making an impact, but it's very hard. So
Yeah.
I see you definitely. If no one else does, I see you.
I'm like, this is one of the topics around here these days. So I'm a little salty and a little, kind of wounded right now.
No, yeah, it's heavy. It's heavy now. It's a heavy topic now, which is, it's a good thing that a lot of, more and more people are talking about it and addressing it and just having
Yeah.
real conversations around it. Because before, sustainability 3, 4, 5 years ago was a trend word and it kind of still is.
Hmm.
But people are definitely like caring a lot more and becoming a little bit more conscious. So
Yeah, and I'm loving the fact that more African Americans are getting into, really the concept of sustainability and plastic-free, zero waste, minimal waste, and
yeah,
all of that. Because when I was actually starting my eco-friendly journey back in 2012, there wasn't, a lot of us doing it. And if we were doing it, we were not on a platform where it can be seen or known. And so now you see so many, sustainable people like Dominic Drakeford and, Whitney McGuire, just so
mhm.
many people that are trailblazing right now in that sector. And so it's really, really good. And I'm happy to see it because it's evolved in the last 8 years. So it's lovely to see.
Yeah, it brings joy to my heart as well, truly. So I totally understand where you're coming from there. So you actually answered one of my questions already in terms of like suppliers and the challenges that come with like finding the correct packaging and this and that.
Yes.
So I do definitely want to get back into toxicity because I think a lot of people are unaware of what's really in products.
Yeah.
Because you have like endocrine disruptors and all these things that are in household products. And, we're really just unaware. And I just don't think I don't know. It's just, it's like, it saddens me a lot because it's just like, how do you educate people without being militant? Because
Hmm.
these are household name products. So I would love for you to talk about like why toxicity is so important to look at in household products.
Yeah, absolutely. This is that one conversation that I will continue to have always because, especially with African Americans,
Mhm.
we are used to Tide and Dawn
Mhm.
and, all those products that work. I call them the OGs because they truly do work, but they're very highly toxic. in their ingredient profile. One thing that I love to do is, really research the science. When I first started, I was super emotional about, ingredients and, this is bad for you, that is bad for you. And now I take more of a science approach and look at what the science says. And science has really evolved. So it's the sulfates, and it's more so the dioxins and the phosphates in products now, because sulfates have actually evolved, and I don't think people that really understand some of the new science with the sulfates, but they've actually evolved a little bit over the last like 10 years. And so they still have that stigma of being highly toxic and all that, but they actually have evolved. So I'm always like, well, I'm not against the sulfate anymore, as long as it's the correct sulfate being used in that product. Right. I'm not going to use a sulfate in my product, but if other companies do it and it's the correct one, but they just don't. But then they also have all of the, like I said, the dioxins and the phosphates and all of the fillers that are also super toxic. So not only do you have to contend with the sulfate, you have to contend with every single ingredient that's in that product to make up that cleaner. And you really have to do a lot of research, and you really have to get out of some of the blogging, because a lot of that is just misinformation or old information and not science-based. And so you really want to look at some of the science journals. You want to go on to some of the manufacturers' websites. And of course, there's going to be a little bit of bias in some of it. So you look at the science journals and you see what the new science is, and you see what the new discoveries are. And then, you go onto the EWG website, which is also can be biased. And so there's a lot of bias. But, it's there. Those are really good, just to be able to do your initial research on those ingredients. Yes. And to me, what I always tell people is you have the right and the ability to make your own informed decision. The information is out there. And so there's really no excuse for people that want to not use a toxic ingredient or a toxic product to still reach for those, because there are some products out there like Pur Home that have a pretty decent ingredient profile. We are super low toxicity, and I'm not going to say that we're 100% non-toxic, because we do have one of our ingredients that's kind of higher on the EWG profile rating, but it's still within 1 to 3 rated on there, which is really good. We stay in the green level. If we were to go into a Whole Foods or anything like that, we look at those things to make sure, how can we just be less, how can we be less toxic, but also natural and effective? We strive for effective cleaning. Natural products do get a bad name for not, working. Right. Yeah. And so people tend to, try a natural product and then get discouraged because it doesn't work. And so, that's I don't know if that answers the question, but, I really just say education is really, it's part the company. So we do a lot of education on, our ingredients. We list all of our products on EWG so that it's easily accessible. We're super transparent in our ingredients so that people can do their own research if they choose to. And then we just share as much as we can. We share and share and share as much as we can so that people know. But yeah, these products are no joke, and it's not just, household cleaners, but it's, food and skincare. It's even, our mattresses and our feminine care products and, all of those things that, once you get down to nitty gritty, you're just down this rabbit hole, like you said, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Things especially like candles, all everything.
Yeah.
So it's just like you guys, it's like you have to take it in sections of like, okay, what
Yeah.
do I want to get better at first? Do I want to buy
Yeah.
a cleaner candle? Do I want to get better detergent? Like all these things.
And I think that's really a great point, Latoya. I think people, in order to not be overwhelmed, because you can get overwhelmed and you can stress yourself out.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
don't stress yourself out, but just really take, the one thing that's the most important to you and start with that. So if it's for me, it was my hair care products, then that segued into my skincare, and then from there it went into my household cleaners. And
Yeah.
so for, each one of those I just took and I just spent time researching
Mhm.
and finding replacements, and just find replacements
Mhm.
and do it bit by bit, but do something. You can do something. If it's just one little thing, you can do that.
Right, right, right. For people who do not know, the EWG that Angela mentioned is the Environmental Working Group, which
Yes.
is a website that shows the ratings of the toxicity, basically in a lot of household products, most consumer products.
Mhm.
And it's actually it's real to me. I mean, when I first came across the website a few years ago, after you learn about what's in a lot of the products that you've been using since you probably were a teenager, right?
Mhm.
It like it is very overwhelming and it's very scary, and it's just I
Yeah.
remember like after you like kind of learn more and more about products, it's like if you go into like a CVS or something, it's just like I just don't look at the products the same way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Right. Right. Right.
I'm just like, oh no, like, oh my God, no, no. And it's just like you definitely can, it's like you have to catch yourself sometimes because
Mhm.
it definitely is overwhelming, but it's so informative because like when you think of marketing, companies are not telling us these things. They're just giving
Right.
you everything else about it, but not that it's slowly impacting your health in a negative way over time because these are things that we use daily, you
Yeah.
know. And that's another thing too that where people have we have to like remember the frequency in which basically how much we use products and how frequently we use them. So
Yeah.
it's definitely scary. But yeah, for those, if you want to check it out, I definitely suggest going to the website and seeing. And you'll also see Pur Home's products there too, like she was saying. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's a great website to check out and to just get a little bit more informed about the everyday products that we use.
Yeah,
Um,
and I think, back to the marketing thing, I think that's really the hardest part,
yeah.
because everyone claims to be natural and plant-based. And honestly, those two words mean nothing anymore.
Right.
They mean absolutely nothing when it comes to, household cleaners, and whether a product is toxic or not. And that's really the unfortunate thing.
Yeah.
And that's why those brands are considered greenwashing, because
Mm-hmm.
I would say 95% of the products that say that are not that at all. They are toxic
Right.
and they are, harmful to the environment. If they're not harmful to humans, they're harmful to pets, they're harmful to, the environment, they're harmful to our sea animals, all of that. And
Right.
so that's the thing that, they may get away with, saying that, but you really have to dig a little bit deeper. Like, okay, if
Mm-hmm.
you wash this down your drain, what's the toxicity that's going to be caused?
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother level of toxicity that people don't even think of. They just think about themselves and say,
Mm-hmm.
well, it's not toxic to me. Okay, it's not toxic to you,
Yeah.
but what's the end result of that product?
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. So I would actually love to, because I know you put up first of all, I love when you go on Instagram and like talk to your followers and like give
Yeah,
everybody updates and show the behind the scenes. So
thank
that's
you.
another thing I really, really love. And I just love that you connect with people who follow the brand. So that's amazing. I know recently you were talking about the new zero waste glass jars that you guys have now.
Yes. Hmm.
And so I would love for you to like just talk a little bit about that if you want to.
Absolutely. So We have a lot of zero waste followers on our Instagram page, and we've had, emails and, people asking us to give some plastic-free options. Prior in the past, I have done some zero waste. And so since it's coming up and more people are, learning about Pure Home, I wanted to give, a few options. And so one of the ones that I knew that we could do would be the laundry powder, which comes in the glass jar, and it's completely zero waste because it's a glass jar with the metal top. The struggle for, packaging and, containers and all that. So we really had to look for these. And then we also have our surface cleaners. So I'm testing those two out to see if there's really a desire for some zero waste products. And then we could expand, the options. But we did start with, and actually, I take that back. We do have a liquid laundry detergent concentrate that's also in a glass container with a metal top. So we do have the three products, the laundry powder, the concentrated laundry detergent, and the surface cleaner. And it's just really for our zero waste community that do not, they don't want plastic. And so we understand that. And we appreciate them, always giving their input. We do our very best. It took us a while to kind of, like I said, find the packaging for that line. And then also just determine sizing and, what that looks like. And we're still developing that whole line. I actually have some, I would love for Pure Home to be zero waste. I would. It's like my biggest challenges within my heart that, we be a zero waste company. But like I said, we have to look at, how is packaging, and for us to be able to create our own packaging, it's going to take a little bit more money than we have. And so we have to kind of do it bit by bit. But yeah, so that line with three products is what we created so far.
Okay, cool. So have you, when in the beginning, did you feel like you had a sense of support? Because again, clean home products, just basically sustainability, it's all been, on an upward trend. So I'd love to know, when you first started your business, did you feel like you had a sense of support, whether it be as a woman of color entrepreneur or just as an entrepreneur starting an ethical home goods company?
I think, yes, Black women have been amazingly supporting Pure Home.
Yes.
It's been a great experience to just have so many on board with us, from the beginning, from the very, very beginning in 2017. Black women have showed up for us and have supported us. I have some return customers that have been customers of mine since the beginning, that I still talk to. I know about their families and all that stuff. And so we've been able to kind of grow together and, to see them and, just everyone. There's just so much just pride for Pure Home and the work that we're doing and have done. And so, we've definitely been supported along the way and, just more and more within the community. So, I definitely feel like we've been supported. Yes.
Good. So I actually couldn't wait to talk about this. So you were on Jay-Z and Pharrell's Entrepreneur music video.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes.
I was in, you're familiar with I Fund Women?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, I guess when the video came out, I forgot the lady's name, but she basically posted in I Fund Women and said, she was like, "Oh my God, did you see Angela inside the video? Oh my God, I felt it." I'm just like, wait, what? Oh my goodness. So it was so inspiring. So congratulations. How did that feel? Because that's huge.
Yeah, it was first how it came about was kind of odd because I got an email and they were like the person that I was dealing with, she was like, "Oh yeah, We are contracted to do this video. It was Cosmetics because he's the director of the video.
Mhm.
So his assistant emailed, and it was just like a regular email. So I was like, "Is this a scam?" Like, who is this? So I looked up Callmatic and looked up the production company, and I sent it to someone, and she was like, "Yeah, I think it's real. It's like he did this video, and they did this video." And so
Oh,
I didn't think that it was going to go because I couldn't find a crew to come out because I'm in Las Vegas area. They couldn't, and so it almost didn't happen actually.
oh.
And so, yeah, they came out and did the shoot at my home.
Mhm.
And then that video literally dropped probably like a week and a half later. And it's still surreal. It's still very surreal just to even have us in that little, that little whatever seconds of the video that we're in.
Right.
The song is such an amazing song.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was a great experience. It was super interesting anyway.
No, that's huge. I actually got a little bit of
Yeah.
emotion. I really love that song. It's just so it's a really empowering song for anyone who
Yeah,
has not
absolutely.
heard it.
Yeah, when I actually saw the video, it was super. The first time I saw it, I was like, wow, these are some really amazing businesses, all around the world because they went so many different places to get the footage and film.
Mhm.
And so I was super honored to just be a part of it because, yeah, Black people are really just amazing. And we have amazing businesses and so much creativity. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a super honor.
Yes. And also congrats on being part of Beyonce's Black Parade when she did
Thank
the
you.
website. So
Yeah, thank
yeah,
you.
when I just saw like a lot of brands like posting like they were involved, like I don't know, it just made it it brought so much joy to my heart because you know
Yeah,
how hard business owners work, and
yeah,
especially when you've been following a particular business or brand for a very long time, and now they're finally getting like their shine from
yeah,
huge icons like
yeah.
but oh my gosh, congratulations. So
Thank you. I actually didn't know about the Beyonce thing until a little bit later in the evening. My sister called and she was like, 'cause I had taken a nap that
uh,
day. And then so when I woke up to these phone calls on my phone. And my grandmother was ill at that time. So I was like, oh God, if she's telling me that my grandmother passed away, I'm
oh
not
my
gonna make
gosh,
it.
yeah, wow. Yeah.
So I call her and I'm like, yeah, what's going on? And she's like, girl, you on the Beyonce? She just starts screaming. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, God, Beyonce. So she sent me a screenshot of it. And I was like, oh my God.
The hard work pays off. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And so like June was crazy, It was the
Wasn't
craziest
it?
month ever.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine for you with Pure Home, but it's just like, oh my goodness, yeah. A
Yeah, it
lot
was just
happened.
bananas. Oh, because we were shouted out. Like we literally went viral that whole month. I'm gonna say I mean, like literally people were just shouting us out, tagging us, tagging us, tagging us. And it just was super just bananas that month.
Oh my God, I love it. Oh,
Gosh.
well, congratulations on all of that. It
Thank
brings
you.
a lot of joy to my heart to see. And I just wish you a lot more blessings to come,
Thank
a lot
you.
more shout
Thank you.
outs and highlights. It's truly an honor to
Yeah.
honestly, really, it's truly an honor to have you here to even like chat with you.
Oh, I
So,
appreciate that.
so what that also brings me to now, you kind of answered one of my questions, but um, I'm curious about what is like your actual favorite product from the line, if you have one.
The laundry detergent. I love the laundry detergent. It's the one product that in the surface cleaner and the bathroom cleaner, well, in
Mhm.
the scrub. So I'm like, wait a minute, all those I use in my home on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
The laundry detergent because I'm the one that washes mostly, and so
Okay.
I get mad when I forget that I don't have any. I'm just like, okay, I need to go to the warehouse and grab some.
I figured it'll probably like multiple, but I was like, I wonder if she has like a favorite. So yeah.
Yeah, I have like so many laundry detergent containers sitting in my laundry room, and now I have the pouch, the refill pouch sitting there. And so I like once, because actually our products are laundry detergent and dish soap is manufactured now. So I'm
Okay.
super excited about that. And so now I just have all this stuff that I can just pump out and, take home with me. And, not to have to make those two products is super huge for us. We're going to be able to scale and, do a lot of stuff. But yeah, definitely the laundry detergent, hands down, my favorite.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Mine's is actually. Yeah, I have like several favorites, but I had to say like I love the all-purpose bar. That's like
Mm,
that's my favorite one because you can
yeah,
do with it.
that's
um,
awesome.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So as a woman of color within the sustainability space, like, and just being aware, like we were talking about earlier with toxicity, and just like being aware of all the problems surrounding this particular subject matter, I'd love to know like how do you cope being aware of all these things, but also being an entrepreneur and then also being a woman of color.
Hmm. So I think the biggest thing is just the education component.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really big, like I said, when I first, started in this industry and in this realm of sustainability and all of that, it was pure emotions.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to, save the world and do good to Mama Earth and all this stuff. And so it was pure emotions. And then as I got deeper into business and started going about the work of doing business, and then also within the same sustainability mind frame, I guess I just had to like really be honest
Mm-hmm.
um, on what I could do as a small business. So, Pure Home is self-funded. We don't have an investor. And so there is a lot that we do because we reinvest within the company. But
Mm-hmm.
then there's a lot of things that, although I know I want to do, I can't do
Mm-hmm.
until I have full funding to be able to do those things. So in the back of my mind, I'm running business as normal, going ahead and doing the things that I do, knowing that the ultimate goal is that I want a non-toxic product that works. That's like
Mm-hmm.
the whole goal of Pure Home. But
Yeah.
then in the back of my mind, I'm setting up this this whole vision of what I want Pure Home to be in the future. Like I'm in the planning phase right now for 2021, and really like I just did my vision board on over the weekend
Oh,
for
cool.
2021, and I'm writing out new goals because when I first started Pure Home, I had my whole mission and everything that I wanted to do, and I've actually fulfilled a lot of those things this year. And so now I have to really expand the vision in a lot of ways. And so I'm really taking like the next 3 months to really see what does that look like for Pure Home? What does sustainability look like? What does our ingredient profile, look like? Can it stay the same, or do we need to adjust it? There's some new great plant-based, non-toxic ingredients that have come available this year. How
Mm-hmm.
can we use those? And there's just so much things that I'm looking at, and I really want to focus more on the zero waste or less plastic
Mm-hmm.
for 2021 and going forward. And so I'm really just envisioning, like, I feel like, how when you're a kid and you have these daydreams and you're like, oh, I want to do this when I grow up.
Right,
And I
right.
want to be this when I grow up. And,
Yeah.
so I'm kind of like, oh, okay, I want to do this when Pure Home grows up. And, we're chatting with some investors. And so that's a potential, thing that's coming in the future. And if we have the money that we can build our own packaging and we can build this, amazing sustainable brand, I'm definitely going to go for it.
Yay. Gosh, congratulations. I'm definitely
Thank
looking forward
you.
to that. Sending good vibes your way.
Yes,
Definitely.
absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. So, would you have any advice for someone who's like new and looking to start a similar brand and really get into the clean home good space if they're just starting out as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say know what your non-negotiables are for your business. That's one thing that has actually, kept me on the right track for the last 3 years is what my non-negotiables are, what I'm not going to do, and what I will not compromise on, what my ethics are, what my values are, what the mission is. Be very clear on that. That took a really long time for me to map out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm grateful that I did that, because like I said, those are the one things that keep me going today. And if I ever feel like I'm deviating, or if something just doesn't feel right, I go back to those, the values and the mission
Yeah.
that I established for Pure Home, and realign myself.
Yeah.
So you have to always be realigned with yourself, with your goals, with your values, with your mission. And then I just say do it, regardless. The industry or the market is not oversaturated. I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, how can I do this if there's so many laundry detergents? And all I say is, what, walk down the aisle in the grocery store, you're gonna see a whole bunch of different cereals, or some of the same cereals with different companies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's okay. I know I like this certain brand, and that's what I'm gonna go when I walk down the grocery aisle. And so you have to just position yourself on that shelf, or in this whatever it is. You just have to position yourself and be okay. Set yourself apart the best that you can, or however you feel that you can. There will be people for you.
Mm-hmm.
And be okay with that. It's a lot of hard work. Know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of hard work, a lot of like mental, and then also know that everybody's going to support you. That's in your family, your friends. Before I started, I knew I would never sell to family and friends. They were never my target market ever. And
Okay.
so I never shared anything about Pure Home. And I just went about doing the business of Pure Home. Now I have people in my family and friends that purchase Pure Home, and I never know until I see their packing slip, and I'm just like, oh. And so I was okay with not having that support, from them, because I knew that they were not my target market, or my target, audience. And, just be okay with not having support from
Yeah.
those people, because I find that entrepreneurs, and small business owners always want the support of family members and friends, and that's who they market to. And I'm like, don't do that. You're gonna be hurt every single time.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, thank you for sharing that. Definitely very helpful, because like I feel like there's a lot of, especially with the pandemic now, there's a lot of people who are really starting to branch out into entrepreneurship. So
Yeah,
that's a very realistic thing. I've experienced it myself. So yeah,
yeah,
very, very good advice.
absolutely.
So so for the last segment, this is something new that I'm for my show. It's basically called Susty Confessions, where I did this because there's a lot of pressure to to live this sustainable
Mhm.
lifestyle, and I
Yeah,
feel like there's no such thing as to be truly, truly sustainable in the in the world that we live in. Like
yeah,
it's like, unless you're just living, like literally living in a forest or something like that. I don't know, but
yeah.
if you live in society in the general sense, like let's be real.
Yeah.
So I would love to know if you have a confession of a time when you felt like you were not being sustainable, or you committed like a quote quote sustainable sin.
Oh my gosh, every single day, I swear.
Yeah.
So, okay, so the thing with the plastic bags at the grocery store,
Yes.
I can never do it. I have tried. I try and I try. One time I had so many of those bags that you're supposed to use. I don't even know what they're called anymore. I've given up.
Like the canvas bags? The
The reusable bags.
Oh my gosh, yes, yes, yes.
I would carry them around and carry them around, and I would still go in the grocery store
And like, yeah, and like not bring them.
and not bring.
Right? Me
And
too.
so I have given up on that one, and I used to feel really bad about that, but this is my thing. I reuse those bags that I get from the grocery store.
Yeah, right.
So I'm still kind of sort of being.
Yeah, exactly. You are, because you're still reusing them. So it's just kind of like, okay, I'm just doing a different version of it, but it's not the
I do
ideal
not
way.
know why I cannot connect with that sustainable practice. I have tried for years and years and years, and I just do not have that down at all. And I've given up on it. So that is my confession.
I like it. Okay, cool. I feel like one for me recently, mine was about a couple weeks ago. I decided that I wanted to find a dress. I went to like the vintage shop, and I was just like, I didn't find anything, but I was like, okay, well, I still want a dress, so I went to H&M to buy it. So I'm just like, ooh, but whatever. I just wanted a dress. But I'm gonna keep this dress for as long as it lasts. It might not last that long, or like I'll hand wash it so it doesn't like destroy. Self like a lot of their programs.
Yeah, I don't shop at the thrift stores either. I've attempted that, but every time I go into a thrift store out here, I live in Las Vegas, and so it's just not a pleasant experience for me. I've bought clothes in the past, and after a while, I just was like, this is just everyone that I went to, it either smelled a type of way, or I just couldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't. So I'm like you. If I'm gonna buy something, I don't buy a lot of clothes. But when I do, I try to buy the best quality of clothes that I can, and then I just wear the crap out.
Right. And that's how we're supposed to do it anyway. So that's good.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Well, Angela, first of all, thank you again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Today, I'm glad that my audience still pretty small, but hopefully more and more people will learn about Pur Home.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just very honored to finally have had you on the show. Thank you.
I know. Appreciate your patience.
Oh, totally fine. It's absolutely fine. But yes, please tell the audience how they can reach you, and where can they shop from Pur Home products.
Yes, so we're on Instagram and Facebook, Pur Home Clean, and that's PURHOME, and then clean, so Pur Home Clean, all one word. That's Facebook and Instagram, and then we're on our website, www.pur-home.com.
Yay! Okay, everybody, like you heard it first from Angela of Pur Home, and please stay tuned. Definitely check her products out. Like, you will definitely find something that you will absolutely love on her website. I have like half the line at least, and they're very, very good, super high quality. You will not be disappointed. So, thanks so much again, Angela, and we will chat further.
Yes, thank you so much.
Bye. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Angela has been super gracious enough to provide a discount code on her website. So if you shop at Pur Home, you can receive 15% off your purchase by using the code SUSTYSOUL at checkout. Again, using the code SUSTYSOUL, SUSTYSOUL, for 15% off your purchase at purhome.com. Bye.